Hi, welcome to this video. In this demonstration, I'll be showing you how to work inside of Meeting Mapper in the meeting page itself, and some information that Meeting Mapper provides back into the object that the meeting is linked to, and in this case, the opportunity. As you can see, I'm in the opportunity. I'm using the meeting that we created in the last video. So I'm going to click on the meeting, and it'll take me back into the meeting with the participants that I had added earlier. As you can see, I have my menu bar up top, and then my meeting participants and logistics, goals, objectives, and my update over here. So the first thing I want to do as I continue to plan for this meeting is I want to go ahead and, based on some initial conversations that I've had or information that I've received, I'm going to go ahead and put some roles and some stance with these meeting attendees. There's two ways to do that. Either I can right mouse click on the icon and then go very singular to what I want to change, or I can click on the name and it brings me up everything where I can change it the initial time all at once. So I can go in here, stance, I'm going to put undecided, and I'm assuming the level of participation is interactive, and I found out that this person is an evaluator and the buyer. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And you can see now that this person's icon now has a yellow flag with the roles next to it. The yellow flag indicates this person is at a stance and role that can jeopardize the opportunity because they are undecided and they are the buyer and an evaluator. And Leanne, I'm going to click on Leanne here. And I'm going to give her a stance of, again, undecided. Interactive, and I find out that she is an evaluator and a decision maker. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Again, you're going to see that now she is also a yellow flag. And then Edward here, who is the president CEO, undecided, and also a buyer and a decision maker. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Again, with the yellow flag. So I'm getting this information that I know already. I can take some notes before the meeting in my internal or the public, and I would also see notes from previous meetings listed on top here in the order that they were received, from the oldest to the newest, and the blue indicating that that is the one that I'm actively in right now. I can also save the document as, or the notes as a document inside for Word, for example. And I can take, pages and pages of notes here, and add a picture, hyperlink, and number, and bullet, and things like that. It's all rich text, so it's very easy to use. I also can take some actionable intelligence. I can do this, during the meeting, after the meeting, before the meeting. If I have some information before I go into the meeting, that makes it even better because I have a better point of a conversation. And whatever I do here in actionable intelligence in meeting number 1 will carry over to meeting number 2 and subsequent meetings. So I don't have to go back and add the things again over and over. I can either take away or add new based on the conversations that I'm having with the customer. So as you can see here, I have a decision date. This is not the close date. This is when the customer is going to make a decision, and I can backtrack from that, make sure my contracts are in order and this other information. Is a project budgeted? Yes, no, undetermined, next fiscal year. I'm going to go ahead and put not determined yet. And I know there's still general interest because we're having the conversation with the customer, and don't know what decisions are going to come out of this meeting yet, but I know some of the actions. Are there any open issues? Do they have other products of ours that may have some tickets open or other relevant information before I have this call? What are the drivers, business, and the technical? Now, to get really into the technical or the requirements, I click on Customer Requirements, click on New, and here's where I start gathering information. I do know that their solution has to be 100% cloud-based. And I know that we have a solution that is cloud-based, and I know it's Strategy Mapper. And we do meet the requirements. Now there's different fields here and it gives it different numeric value. You can see this gave it 100. So if I can bring in a partner to meet the solution, that's 100. If we meet it, that's 100. If partially, that's 50. On the roadmap is 25, and we do not meet the requirement, that's 0. What happens is this score is then added up and then done some crunching on the back end, and we come up with a solution score which we put inside of the opportunity plan. But we do meet this requirement. And I can add as many as I need based on the customer requirements. What competitors do I do? I do know that there's at least one competitor, it's ABC Company. Now, if I had gathered their strengths and weaknesses from a previous meeting, I could pre-populate these two fields based on that information. I'm going to put a strength in here of a big company. And one thing is, it's their high price. So those are some strengths and their weaknesses. And now, when somebody else in an opportunity selects ABC Company as a competitor, they're going to have these fields already populated, and they can always add to them. And I'll show you what else we do with this data after the meeting. What pain points is the customer seeing? All these drop downs are configurable by your organization. We're just using the ones that we put canned inside of the application. So maybe they have a low usage of Salesforce. I can even put some other information. And I can continue to grab these pain points over the course of the opportunity or the meetings that I'm having with the customer. What's our strength? One of them is we're 5 out of 5 stars rated on the App Exchange. Maybe another one is that we are a reference customer and a very configurable solution. What's our weakness? What can hamper us inside of this opportunity? We're not the incumbent. Maybe somebody else is already in there and we're trying to displace them. What obstacles am I running into? You know, I could be running into getting blocked by the gatekeeper. What objections? Maybe I don't know of any objections right now, and I don't know the why buys right now either, but I can add them as I continue the conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now I'm getting my information. One other thing I can do is, if let's say I found out that I know that Edward is a CEO, and I know that Howard and Leanne report to Edward. So I can go ahead and grab Howard. What I'm doing is I'm building out my organizational chart in real time. And it has their stance, the current stance of this meeting right here. And if I had met with them before, it would show their current stance also from that previous meetings. You can see how it changes over time. I could even add other contacts from the account that may not be in this meeting and start building out my org chart. Or I can bring in a partner, for example, put them over here and draw a line of relationship between maybe the partner and Edward. So I'm inside the meeting, I'm getting some great information, and Howard is saying some really good things and indicated that he wants to move forward, or he's for. So I can go in here and click for, and why is he for? He had to set or done one of these things for me to be able to select why he's for. Said they'll buy it. That's usually pretty good. Now, I'm hearing some different things from Leanne, for example. So I can right mouse click on her and change her stance to maybe against. And she said she will not support it. And I can save it. So what you're seeing here now, that flag has gone from Howard. Leanne now has a yellow flag or red flag, which means she can probably kill this deal by herself. And Howard or Edward is still the same. But I'm hearing some good things from Edward also. So I'm going to hit 4, and he's going to be the executive sponsor within the account. What I've come to find out too is Howard said he will champion us. So I can right mouse click, go to role, and now he is the champion. And now why is he the champion? What has he done to earn that coveted role of champion? Maybe said, got a one-on-one with executives and such. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. We're looking pretty good here, but this still can hurt me from an opportunity perspective. So what I found out too is I want to go ahead and I want to update that field inside of the opportunity. And I'm going to go ahead and put Maybe we're going to ID the decision makers. We did that in this meeting, so we know who the decision makers are. So I'm just changing not only the stage here, I'm changing it inside of that opportunity. So maybe I can go in here and select some other actionable intelligence, objections, or why buys. What I did find out in the meeting that one of the why buys is they've got to reduce the cost of sales by 15%. So I'm going to go ahead and say that. That's all this information that I gather right in the meeting. I can add an attachment to this meeting. It could be an RFP, RFI response. I can go into Opportunity Mapper and Account Mapper. We'll discuss those in later demonstrations and videos. So let's say that I'm all done with my meeting. I've completed it. Now I go ahead and I have to click the completed checkbox. This is very important. A meeting will not update either Opportunity Mapper or Account Mapper unless the checkbox is selected. And depending upon your template, there's other things that can happen after this is selected. For example, what resonated with the customers, and you want to score the meeting numerically and not only from a number perspective, but why did you give it that number? And I'm going to go ahead and save it. I've got my meeting, I'm all done. Now what do we do with this data? If I go back in and I go back in and look at the opportunity, you can see we've done a couple things. One is I've updated all the contact roles, and you'll see that some people have multiple roles. That's fine. It's not duplicates, they just have multiple roles. I've also added the partners or the competitors in here. Very, very easy to do. And I've also done notes and attachments. And I've also, again, I changed the stage right here. So I've done everything in the Meeting Mapper app, and I've updated everything in Salesforce. Not only did I update the opportunity, but if I look back inside of the account, I've also done some things to the account. The meeting, the contacts, the opportunities, information, what stage it's in. So I've updated all that right from Meeting Mapper. I've also updated dashboards and a lot of other things. And a meeting is the same in any object that you link that meeting to. And again, it's very dependent upon the template that you select, what options are there for you to be able to do inside of the meeting. So thank you very much. Have a great day.